and bringing business and government together to work cooperatively and to get things done. The Government Affairs Committee is chaired by Cal Williams. And Cal, I believe you're online still?
Yes, I
You
am.
want to just say a few words? I know your voice is bothering you, but if you want to just say a few words, Cal?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
Good afternoon, Carl.
Good. Welcome to the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you on. Normally this time of year, we have our mayor's breakfast, but due to COVID-19, we had to forego that. But hopefully in the very near future, we can sit down as a group and do an official welcoming. So with that, listen, my voice went south. I have to shut up. That's what my doctor said if I need to get better. So I'm going to shut up now and turn it back over to Joe.
Great. Thank you, Cal.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me introduce our sponsors. As you know, we have sponsors that help promote our government affairs series. And I want to recognize Covanta, Eastern Bank, Lowell 5 Bank, the Merrimack Valley Chamber Means Business Program, National Grid, Regis North in Lawrence, which serves the Merrimack Valley for bachelor's degrees in professional education, Tech Inc., the Engineering Corp., and Unicare. And you'll be hearing more about Unicare in the next couple of weeks. We're working on a major program with them that I think you're all going to find very, very much of interest. I want to say thank you to the mayor. And I want to say thank you to the mayor taking time. He is serving in the capacity as acting mayor for the city of Lawrence. Obviously, the problems and the challenges and the opportunities in the city continue on. And Mayor, we look forward to learning some of the ideas you have. What we're going to do is after the mayor makes a presentation, what we will do is we will ask the mayor, I will ask the mayor 2 or 3 questions that I think will encompass many of the ideas that you have. And then if you have individual questions or comments you'd like to make, please put them in the chat room and we will be glad to forward those to the mayor afterwards. And if anyone needs help to put anything in the chat room, Rayanne, can you just briefly tell them how to go about doing it?
Absolutely. If you hover over the bottom of your screen, you'll see some icons pop up. In the middle of your page, it's the 4th one from the left. Click on that. Your chat feature will come up. For those of you that are on your phones, I believe it's there's 3 dots at the top of your phone. You can click on to hit chat. Please, when putting your questions in the box, just let us know your name, company name, and email address so we can forward it to the mayor.
Thank you, Rayanne. And I don't believe any of the legislators are able to make it, but I do believe we have a representative from Congresswoman Trahan's office with us. I think Vladimir is joining us or will be joining us as well. So without further ado, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the City of Lawrence's acting mayor, Kendrys Vasquez, and thank him for taking time from his busy schedule. Mr. Mayor, we normally would be in person and we'd give you a big round of applause, so we're going to do it right now. Welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Joe. As you know, I've been supportive of the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce anytime you or anyone has come before the city council during my tenure as a city councilor. I've done everything possible to ensure that we continue to be, good partners. As
so we work well together, and you've recognized the role of the chamber to work together with the city of Lawrence, and I appreciate that. And we look forward to working with you as you go forward these next. We don't know how many months. I don't know if you're going to make an announcement today, but we're here as long as you are here.
Definitely. So today, my commitment continues to be to ensure that there's a smooth transition of government in the city of Lawrence. I think that it's important, to ensure that transition occurs in the smoothest possible way. Whether I stay as mayor, in the future, or a new mayor comes in starting November of this year. But I do believe that continuity of services in the city and improving those services is critical, and making necessary adjustments to support not only the business community locally, but as well as the general community and our residents. So once again, good afternoon, and thank you to the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce for the invitation. And I am actually excited to share with you what I've done in the couple of days, a month and a half, essentially, that I've been here as mayor for the city of Lawrence. Obviously, because of COVID-19, things are different, and businesses have been struggling tremendously. You have been impacted tremendously, and you had to restructure the way that you conduct business on a day-to-day basis. So, the restaurant industry, the service industry, all the industries essentially have been impacted. So in this Zoom meeting, I know that we have folks that are staples in our community that I need to support to ensure that you continue to be successful, because your success is the city of Lawrence success. And I mean that. You are the backbone of our economy, and ensuring that we are, continue to blossom. I have to make myself available and work collectively with each of you to make this happen. Something that I think is important to know is that as soon as I got to this new role, I opened my office to not only residents and city employees, but to the business community as well. And I've gotten to learn a lot over the last couple of days. And on my second day, there was a particular small business that approached me in terms of not being able to apply to state funds that were available, money that is available for them, simply because this person didn't have a business certificate that needs to be issued by the city. So what that meant is that that person was speaking on behalf of hundreds of other small businesses that also needed this certificate to submit funding. And based on quick calculations that we did, we were talking about funding that could come into the city between $980,000 to $7.1 million, simply because we were not issuing that certificate, right? In order to obtain that certificate, many of you had to obtain it for your own business. It could have taken anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks. You had to literally schedule multiple meetings, or not meetings, appointments to go to the ISD office, water and sewer department, the tax collectors department, the city clerk's office, and get on a physical stamp to obtain this. When that person said that to me, he said, look, I am going to be missing out on this opportunity, and this is coming up January 15th. So if no action is taken by the city, January 15th, I cannot submit my application. That's the holdback. So what did I do? I got together with all of the department heads that were specifically, around, had something to do with this concern. And we streamlined that process. And today I'm proud to say that you could obtain a business certificate in the city of Lawrence within 24 hours digitally. And that ensures that any business, not just a small business, can go about their day-to-day operation of the business and I have to be scheduling appointments back to back. We have to streamline. So the reason why I'm sharing this story is to tell you that I have a commitment to streamline the process as much as we can, to ensure that you continue to focus on running your business day to day versus having to schedule appointments to come into City Hall continuously and unnecessarily. I don't think that you should be spending countless hours here where you have a business that needs you to be there physically. So, that was one way in which we solved it. We helped by doing this close to 100 small businesses issuing those certificates. We have assigned a particular individual to do that. And now those folks were able to submit their application. So we're just waiting for the state to issue those grant funding and support them in the way that is needed. We did that already, but there's a lot more that needs to be done. And that's where I think it needs to take collective action in which I can make decisions locally, but you have to provide me guidance as to what those red tapes and those barriers exist. You know better than any elected official what the barriers are. I'm here to make those changes, but I will need to hear from you on what changes are needed to ensure that you continue to be successful, because I have a commitment with you to do that. And that's that's just one of the things that we've done to support the small business community, showing my commitment to ensure that we streamline, we take away the red tape, we remove barriers for your success. I've asked the City Council for additional funding from our free cash account to provide support to businesses that opened after March 2020. There were many small businesses that couldn't apply for any funding because they didn't have the opportunity to file taxes for prior years, 2019, 2018, they didn't exist. They opened January, right when the pandemic started to gain some steam. The month of February, March, there was one particular restaurant. He said, "Look, I opened the week before the state of emergency was declared in Massachusetts. So when they're asking me for paperwork from prior year, it's just non-existent. I don't have any of it. So what did I do? I came to the council and I said, hey, I understand there's funding available for businesses that existed prior to the pandemic, but what about for those that opened right when the state of emergency was declared, when the pandemic started to hit? There's absolutely nothing. So let's come together and let's provide them with a bit of financial assistance, and let's also provide them with guidance and direction, because we were not doing that for those. And yeah, there are new businesses. We need to support them because their success also, guarantees your success and the city's success. And that speaks to stimulating, those entrepreneurs that need our support and guidance. So something that I am really looking for now is to changing the way of procurement locally in the city of Lawrence. I know many of you provide different type of services that the city probably needs. And something that I am finding is that it is extremely, and I emphasize on that word, challenging for many of you to even submit a bid for services, to provide services in the city. So I am working aggressively to ensure that we can have a more cohesive approach on how businesses can do bidding locally. I think it's really unfair that if we have great local cleaning companies, and I'm just going to use examples, not something that is written in stones now, but there's great cleaning companies locally that probably don't even have the opportunity to bid to clean locally our municipal offices because there's so many restrictions, and we're giving those to larger corporations outside of the region, who are not invested in our folks. And I think that we need to figure out a way in which we could allow those smaller businesses and you guys here to present a proposal to us. And if the proposal that you're offering is the best one, we'll go with you. And that shows that we're not only here to provide financial assistance, but also redirect business into your businesses. It's a service that we're paying for. So why not, redirect the business locally to folks that are already hiring local individuals, local residents who are, keeping the money in the city. So I am committed to, finding a way to present an executive order to change the way that procurement occurs in the city. We have to support you. And I know that's something that has been brought up by many businesses here, that they're just not given the opportunity to submit any bid proposals. And I want to give you the opportunity to do that. What else can we talk about? Something that I believe is that it's important for Lawrence to be a vibrant community. Vibrancy will drive foot traffic, especially for those of you that are probably storefront businesses or rely primarily on customer experiences. And my vision and goal is that over the next couple of months, we bring in a different type of atmosphere into the city. We understand we're in the middle of a pandemic, so we have to be very cautious on the reopenings locally, but we can do it safely. I think that it's important that we provide the necessary support and guidance to do this in a safely way and also drive foot traffic into your businesses. So in order to do it, we need to be vibrant. We need to do things differently. We need to think outside of the box. And one way that I'm thinking about, and this is not solidified yet, is to have a trolley system around the different business districts in the city of Lawrence that literally is going to take people from one end of the city to the other and get them to experience the different, restaurants that exist. Get them to see that there's a wonderful, storefront that has fantastic, merchandise that we didn't know about, and this trolley system. I'm a traveler, so let me tell you why I'm thinking like this. I'm a traveler. Everywhere I go, every city that I visited, I try to find a hop on, hop off bus. I don't know how many of you are familiar with those. So when I do that, what happens is that as soon as I get off in one of those destinations, I spend a good hour, 2 hours walking around that particular sector, and I'm spending money. So I think that we should do something similar locally by providing quality experiences to folks. We have fantastic restaurants, not only in specifically Exit Street, but when you think of South Union, which is becoming an extension of our downtown, South Union is becoming so vibrant. I don't know how many of you have walked down South Union Street recently. There's interesting businesses that are popping up there, and we should be supportive of that sector of the city. When we think of downtown in Lawrence, we only think of Exit Street, but I think that there's many smaller business districts in the surrounding area, and we should be also providing support to them. So that's why I want to create a system in which we could connect all those together. So I want to have live, music in different areas of the city. I want to create Instagrammable opportunities for people to stand, for residents to literally come over and experience something different. If we do that, foot traffic will be higher, and people will come into your stores, into your restaurants, into your cafe shops, in whatever service that you're offering. One other thing is that I've learned, we have and Joe, if I'm talking too much, you let me know, you stop me. Don't worry. I'm sorry?
I was muted. You're doing fine, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So something else that I've learned is that, we have the zoning board, which many of you have had to maybe appear for zoning reasons. Their membership, it's not that the members are not truly, the composition of the membership is not there, right? Why? Many of the meetings had to be canceled. So that presents a delay to you seeking let's say you're looking for a variance. Now we are delaying you an additional month or 2 or 3 months to be able to present your case before the Zoning Board of Appeals. So my commitment has been to restructure the Zoning Board of Appeals to ensure that the membership is there, so those delays won't happen. Anytime we delay you a month or 2 months or 3 months, that's money that you're losing. And I don't think it's fair for any of the small businesses to lose out because the city doesn't have its acts together in terms of the membership of not only Zoning Board, but also the Planning Board. There's an opening in the LRA now, and I seek for you, and your guidance. If you know of any quality individuals that could serve any of those boards and commissions in the city, don't shy away. Refer them to me. And if there's individuals that I think will be quality enough for the city, I'll send them down to the city council. And I can tell you that I've already done that. I've in another board and commission that was not operating, and that's the human rights. That doesn't necessarily impact the operations of you as a small business on a day-to-day basis, but just so you understand my commitment is that I had a person that ran against me serving on that board, not because I'm looking to gain any interest politically from her, but because I know that she's quality enough to represent the interests of that board, and I am fully committed to it. There's a civil rights attorney that we had never tapped on, and it was because of a conversation with another counselor that we were able to approach this person who has an interest in serving the community. So who could be a quality individual to serve on the zoning board. Individuals that are quality to serve on the planning board. Who can serve on the LRA, Lawrence Redevelopment Authority, which are boards that you are likely going to come in front of at some point or another. And I need your help in identifying who those members should be, because we can do it together collectively. So I don't know, Joe, if you want me to answer questions. Or I could keep going. I mean, I really could keep going.
Oh, I know that. We appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of questions that I'd like to ask you on behalf of.
Let's go. Let's do that. Yeah.
That's okay. And obviously, in fact, Lane Glenn, the president of Northern Essex Community College, is on our call today. And he's the chairperson of our Economic Development Committee. So I've developed some economic development questions that the chamber wants to ask. And it would be something that we look forward to working with you, Mr. Mayor, as you develop plans and programs to assist in the redevelopment and continued growth of the city of Lawrence. And so one of the questions that we have is, how can we work with you, and how are you developing plans to continue with the redevelopment and reuse of the buildings on Essex Street, as you mentioned, South Union Street as well, and in the general downtown area?
So there's quite a few vacant properties. I don't know how many of you are building owners on Essex Street. And if you are, I wish to have a direct dialogue with you on how we could even do pop-up shops on a temporary basis to drive that foot traffic. So the idea is that in order to have a permanent, vibrant downtown or business districts in the city, we need to look at things from a different perspective. So there was one community that I visited in Mexico City that was very run down. And when I was there, well, prior to my visit, right? When I visited, many of the shops that were there, they were actually pop-up shops. And what does that mean? If you haven't heard that before, is that there are businesses that are there maybe for a 3-month period, 6-month period, a short window of time. And they were bringing in nice artistic galleries, or things that, rather than having it be a vacant property blocked off with plywood, they were actually interesting locations for residents and tourists and visitors to walk and generate an interest in coming back. So I want to see if there's an opportunity for us to remove those playwoods that are there and get us to get pop-up shops going. There's folks that might need temporary space. So let's get them there. Let's drive the foot traffic back into our downtowns for those areas. I know it's a commitment that the city has to make. So we'll have to find creative ways to maybe provide financial assistance if necessary. But it's also an opportunity for you to help, an entrepreneur who's launching a business and doesn't have a location to go, but might not be able to commit to a long-term plan until their business is up and running. So maybe finding alternative ways to offer them an opportunity on a temp basis to say, hey, I need 3 months to get up and going. And then after that, let's discuss a longer term lease. And that's something that will happen between you and that entrepreneur. But there's many out there that just simply need to get up and going. And that will diversify what is currently happening in our downtowns. I really don't want to see plywood, covering beautiful storefronts or simply closed and dirty. Let's get someone in there that will help facilitate opening that traffic that is so desperately necessary. That's one way, right? Another idea that, and it doesn't have to be just business. It could be galleries. Like we could talk to the Access Art Center. I don't know if they're part of the conversation here. We could talk to other institutions that are, providing different services. And let's say, hey, let's set up a display. People could come in, kind of like a small museum of, artistic gallery, but let's get the traffic going and visualize what could potentially happen in those regions. Because what we do is that we are not visualizing what Lawrence could look like long term. And in order to do it, we just have to change the way that we operate. And if the city has to support you in doing this, let's do it. Something else that I've heard often from residents and business owners in the downtown area is parking. Parking continues to be a big issue, especially given the fact that we had to close the Capitol lot on Common Street. We closed the Exit Street lot right where between Common and Jackson Street. We closed it. We had to close Museum Square. So you're talking about 3 large parking areas that are closed. I am happy to tell you that we are opening Capitol lot and Exit Street lot, and we have already started the reconstruction for Museum Square, which will enable people to be able to come back into downtown, find parking, and walk around and shop and eat and enjoy the great things that we have to offer. So we are already with the parking addressing it. They are ready, like they've been built. So we should have opened it months ago. Well, not months ago, but at least 3 months ago. One of them could have opened. So it just shocked me that they were not ready to be open. So I'm just telling my acting DPW director, what's the holdback? And he said, well, we just needed a booth. I'm like, well, do we have an old booth that maybe we could use until the new booth arrives? Yeah, we have a booth available. Okay, so let's use that one on a temporary basis. When the new booth arrives, then we'll we'll replace it. But let's not wait until the new one arrives to provide parking opportunities downtown. And so that's one other thing that we're doing to incentivize the traffic back into the downtown. People were not finding where to park.
I think that's very important, Mr. Mayor, and as someone who's been on Essex Street, parking obviously is going to be a continual problem until the Museum Square garage is put back. So I thank you for that. One area I'd like to ask you.
Where we started last week, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
so
great.
Anyone that is in that surrounding, you're going to start seeing movement. And the plan was to last for a year construction. And I said we have to figure out a way. So we're saying anywhere between September and November of this year, Museum Square will be open, and running back.
Yeah, that's very positive.
So
I'd like to ask you to consider at some point in time for the downtown businesses, if you would consider utilizing some of your potentially CDBG funds or other federal funds in conjunction maybe with mass development to create a facade improvement program for the downtown, so that you talked about the storefronts, it would help fund the improvements to the storefronts for businesses that are active, that will employ people, that'll bring shoppers in from within the city and from outside of the city. And it'll help those shoppers, especially after the pandemic. So it's something that's been used commonly in other cities and towns, and it's something that you may want to consider here in Lawrence. But thank you for your concern about the downtown areas.
That is something that I am fully, open to listening more how we can partner about this. So we were just today, we were just having a conversation about the CDBG funds right prior to this meeting. So I could bring it back to the Economic Development Director.
Great.
And addressed it.
But it's just one opportunity. And again, we want to thank you for focusing in the downtown and focusing with the small businesses. In fact, my next question is, how can we work together with you? And are you looking at plans right now or ideas relative to helping the small businesses in the city? And also, sometimes they're forgotten, the businesses that are in the Lawrence Industrial Park.
Mm-hmm. So something that we had a forum, and I don't think that this had ever been done from the mayor's office in the past. Maybe if he has, any of you that participated, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had a small business town hall meeting. And I don't know if any of you were even notified. Maybe shake your head if no. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't seem like folks in this call were necessarily notified about it. And that's something that, I'm going to take it up on me. I'm responsible for not ensuring that everyone was invited. And my intention is that we will, expand onto that, because many ideas came about from that town hall. And something that we were able to expand upon was the restaurant initiatives to provide, restaurants an opportunity to service us, and we are paying them a fee for the food that they are serving our anyone who's positive with COVID, or the elderly community that needs food because of food insecurity. But not only that, we're also assisting the transportation companies locally who have been impacted as well. Not the taxis, but anyone who has who's on liberty for the most part. And they're doing the food delivery, and we will be paying them for a fee for service. So not only giving financial assistance, but also driving business to these sectors is critical, and that's what I want to do. I think that it's important that I drive business to businesses, and you among yourselves go also drive business to other businesses to support one another. Imagine if there's a shop next to you that is being successful, that traffic is also going to flow into you. So it's important that we support each other in that regard. So I'm open to having that CDBG conversation, beautify our downtown as much as we can. Something that we are going to be doing is replacing all of the street signage in downtown. As you can tell, they are run down. You, I don't think that any of them you can actually identify what the name of the street are. So we will be replacing those over the next couple of weeks. We will be repainting. I already instructed my city engineer that we need to repaint all of the not only downtown, but I want to repaint citywide our streets to ensure that we have an appeal that is presentable, especially not only to our residents. I think that we have to look good for our residents, but also anyone coming from outside of the city. It's important that we live in a city with order. So I'm going to share an anecdote. Is my grandmother always said that being a poor person doesn't mean that you are a dirty person. And I don't want you to take it the wrong way. Those are the words that my grandmother used to say. And I'm going to take it upon me as mayor now in the city to ensure that being a poor city is not a synonym of being disorganized, being a city that doesn't follow order. So one way to support our downtown communities is that I'm going to try to put as much order as I can by ensuring that our street signage are properly, that they can be read. We have, proper street markings, the lines are properly painted, that we add capacity to anyone who's double parked illegally, that we can ticket them. So I just brought on board a new, I just signed yesterday to bring on board a new parking enforcement individual, because I think that's necessary, that we can redirect traffic properly. We want people driving in, but we also want the flow of traffic to continue. And I've seen multiple times in which there's, large trucks or, cars double parked. That creates an inconvenience for anyone who wishes to come in and support you as a business owner. So we need to have a more pleasant approach to consumers. And that's what I am trying to build on to get you guys to help.
And Mr. Mayor, we would like to coordinate with you a meeting with the Lawrence Industrial Park companies. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a great amount of employment in the Lawrence Industrial Park, and those companies are very, very industrious. They're very much worried about the future, obviously, as the pandemic continues to impact them. And so whenever you're ready, we'd love to be able to coordinate that program, a Zoom meeting with them, the members of the Lawrence Industrial Park Association.
Mm-hmm. So am I answering the questions on I know Ms. Dalia Diaz asked a question. Do you want me, Joe, to answer those questions?
What we thought we would do, only because of the time, is that if someone has a question, we could ask them to put it in the chat room, and then we would send the chat questions to you. But okay. We just had a few other questions, and if we have time, we could always come back to those. But
okay, fantastic.
Let me just ask you also about market rate housing in the city of Lawrence. Lawrence has done a tremendous job in terms of converting the older abandoned mill buildings into housing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, some has been market, some has been subsidized. Are you looking at adding more residential housing in the city of Lawrence?
So it all depends on a couple of factors. Remember, I'm here for a couple of months in my current capacity, correct? So in my current capacity, I will be ensuring that there's support for what has already been in place. Now, I am also, anyone who wishes to come in, I'm a big believer that there has to be mixed use opportunities in the city. All buildings should not only go towards housing. There has to be a good mixed use opportunity, because if we shouldn't have a city with a downtown of people where people only come to sleep. It has to be a downtown that is vibrant. And in order for it to be vibrant, we need to ensure that there's vibrant businesses here. So if we are going, my vision is that if someone wishes to have housing, yeah, let's also consider how maybe the first floor and second floor could be utilized for businesses and office spaces, and the upper floors are housing, not housing from the first floor up. In order to have a vibrant downtown, you need to have businesses in downtown. If it's all housing, then we shouldn't be calling it a downtown or a business district. So my approach is that if for housing, it has to be mixed use housing and commercial. And, I'm open to having market rate housing as well. I think that is necessary. I've been approached by many, young professionals that feel that they don't qualify for, low income housing because of, and keep in mind, they're not making tremendous amount of money either, but with their income, they don't qualify for housing, but they wish to remain in Lawrence, and we need to provide for them as well. So we shouldn't let that population of young professionals get away from the city when they can provide so much valuable support to us. So I think that we have to have a very good balance between market rate housing, affordable housing, and commercial spaces, especially in our downtown area.
Right.
So it's a threefold.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, what can we do to help you to continue to attract new businesses in the city of Lawrence? You've mentioned several ideas. Are there any other things you're thinking of? Any other ideas you're having relative to applying an idea for a new business? I know that education and workforce development is very, very important. Is there a way in which you're looking at grouping education and workforce development with assisting companies that may need job training for new employees or for process that may be changing? Are you looking at any tax programs utilizing the available state and federal tax programs that are available to assist businesses? Are you looking at a mix of all that? Or would you, at this point in time?
Yes, so I think that it takes more than one approach to attract businesses here. We shouldn't funnel it to one particular topic. And I am open to tax incentive programs for Lawrence, even if it's via local tips that need to be provided. I think that right now it's important that we have the unemployment rate due to COVID has increased. And I think will continue to be this way even as we are doing openings. So I am open to providing tax incentive to any businesses that wish to open in our community because they will be essentially providing job opportunities for the people of Lawrence. And that's what we need, to remain a good, healthy city in terms of our economic. We need to give them the opportunity to have some relief early on and have jobs opportunities for the people here. So yes, I'm all open for to hear proposals from anyone who wishes to expand or open new businesses in the city and provide them any incentives necessary to ensure that they will be successful.
Great. In terms of we told you we'd keep you less than an hour. In terms of the overall city's development, in terms of the pathway that's been going, it's obviously Lawrence has come a tremendous distance. There are so many great things happening in and around the city, in the neighborhoods, in the downtown, in the industrial parks. We're seeing more and more buildings rehab, more and more people investing in buildings, more and more jobs being created. Tell us a little bit about what your plans during the interim, how many months you're here. None, we don't know, obviously, but in terms of the continued presence of police protection, fire protection, which is obviously public safety is important to any business person and to any visitor in the city. Any new plans or ideas or continuing the same program? Any thoughts on that?
So I am fully committed to, our fire department, police department, and I'm proud of the work that they've done. And I also think that we can continue to improve upon that. I know that we started, under the last administration, a community liaison, a business community liaison program with the police department. Now that's something that I wish to continue and expand upon. I think it's necessary that we maintain that dialogue. I don't know how many of you had the opportunity to meet with this liaison at some point. But the walking beats downtown and in the neighborhood is something that I wish to continue. And in the way that we not only police and fire, I know that that was specifically your question, but also ISD, I think is critical in the business community. When coming in requesting permits and licenses necessary to operate. So between the three departments, I think that we can accomplish a lot together. So I wish to expand upon the community liaison, the business community liaison in the police department, and ensure that ISD continues to be, supportive to initiatives that you're doing.
Great. One of the things that we'd like to just ask you if you would explain more about the program you talked about relative to providing elderly food through the local restaurants. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes. So as of last week, the restaurant initiative program is something that I am expanding upon. It's not something that I started. It was started by the previous administration. And when it started as a pilot program to see whether or not it will be efficient. So the way that it will work is that we are asking any local restaurants that was a dine-in and it can prove that they were impacted by the pandemic, they can apply. And so far, as of last week, we had 19 restaurants that had applied. And 8 restaurants were actually approved and ready to do the onboarding process. That's as of last week. So the new data might look different today, Friday. I should be getting a report by today about it. But that's as of last Friday, correct? The idea behind it is that we can support this restaurant community by literally paying for a service that they will offer. What we're asking from them to do is provide meal services. It doesn't have to be hot meals, right? But definitely meals that could be cooked and reheated at home safely by anyone with COVID or the elderly community that might have challenges cooking themselves. And we will deliver these meals by also looking for local transportation companies that were non-operational during the pandemic. As of last week, let me get the number for the transportation. 3 local transportation providers had applied, and it seems like all of them at that time had completed all the proper documentation and were ready to start. We were ready to start onboarding them. The deadline for this, for anyone that has an interest, it's Monday, February 22nd. So next Monday, February 22nd. The application can be found on our website. And I encourage anyone who has a restaurant or anyone that provides transportation services that is not a taxi company to submit an application. And it's not going to be, a specific restaurant that we're looking for. Our intention is that we could, based on need and capacity, we could provide business to as many restaurants as we can. So there were restaurants that had never applied for any services. They didn't even went with, any of the grants that have been offered. And what we did is that we started doing outreach individually to these folks. And I think that we shouldn't always just go to those that know the system. We also have to do outreach to those that are not familiar with the system to be as fair and equitable as we can. And I'm proud to say that we're doing it in a very objective manner. It's not for any particular restaurant, but for anyone that submits the application.
We have Dahlia from Rumbo is online. The Lawrence Community Television Program is online. They're available to help you promote that program. And again, once the program is finalized as well, I'm sure they're able to help you promote it as well. I'd like to ask you one final question before we adjourn. We wanted to keep you an hour. Lawrence is very fortunate that you have both an excellent education system that continues to excel as it goes back each and every year. Northern Essex Community College doing a tremendous job with Dr. Lane Glenn and the campus, headquartered here in the city of Lawrence, and also the Gray Lawrence Tech School. Do you see a continuing opportunity to improve education in the city of Lawrence, utilizing the opportunities that Northern Essex gives you, the Lawrence Tech School gives you, in conjunction with both the public and the private schools. We have a number of private schools here in the city of Lawrence as well. Do you see that being a very positive for everyone as we go forward?
I think it's extremely positive. I've seen the work that is going on at Northern Nexus, and I think that we can actually expand upon the successes that we've seen. I think that it's important that we don't only provide regular traditional education to folks, but also hands-on education. And something that I'm seeing with the El Hefny Center, that's what's happening. We are addressing a workforce community that is desperately needed. The hands-on work, that learning experience is necessary, and I'm open to hearing how we can continue to grow and educate our residents to empower them, to obtain better jobs. So education, I think, is critical, and creating and something that I know is that offering for bachelor's programs locally is also has been important. Man, I don't see
We
him.
absolutely want to include Regis College. Regis College, which is serving the Merrimack Valley region, providing bachelor's degrees in professional education.
Yes,
it's a critical component, and also Cambridge College. I think Lawrence is very, very fortunate to have so many colleges and working together. I remember when I was on the first got on the board of Northern Essex, when Lawrence became the home of Northern Essex, the then mayor Sullivan said Lawrence is finally a college town. Now, in reality, there is more than one college, so there's tremendous opportunity. So I'm glad to see your recognition of the importance of education with the workforce development, the training issues, and the helping of Lawrence moving forward. Mr. Mayor, before we adjourn,
yes.
Do you have any final thoughts or comments? Like, how can people reach you if they have comments or questions, or they want to talk to you? I know that I'm sure as time goes on, they want to continue to work with you.
Yeah.
For how many months you're going to be here?
So before I provide that information, I in the chat, you're going to find the link to the restaurant initiative for anyone that wishes to submit an application for it. And also, I'm going to write my chief of staff, the contact information. Writing down my chief of staff information. That way, if you need to connect with me, so that's on my email. Sorry, that's not my. Don't use that one. Use my press secretary.
While you're typing that out, there's a question in the chat room from Jatenda Mekar, who's the owner of Induspad, the former Polytech building. That's a building that I'm not sure if you've been there yet or not, but we should.
I have. I know Purnima also.
Purnima's on the call as well. Purnima. They've got a question relative to distribution warehousing. If companies need storage in the interim period, they can utilize Induspad. It's a great opportunity. I think Induspad is one of those companies that's going to grow and expand as we go forward in the next few years.
They will, and I'm excited for the things that could happen in that area. I know that it's right in the Lawrence-Methuen border, and I think that it's important. Something that I strongly believe in partnerships. And I started a dialogue with the mayor of Methuen. It's a conversation that we will continue to have regularly to find ways in which both cities could collaborate. I think that is necessary because when we think of the geographic of both of our cities, we're relatively small, geographically speaking. So anything that happens in Methuen or anything that happens in Lawrence is having a direct impact in both of the communities. So we started a dialogue and there's a commitment from his part or my part to continue that conversation, because the success of our neighbors in Methuen is also the success of the city of Lawrence. We are, our residents go back and forth between the two. And I think it's important that we maintain open lines of communication. And Purnima, Induspad being right on that border, I think it's a way to bring us together. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When the Malden Mills fire occurred and the chamber was very active in helping Malden Mills rebuild, the permitting process was actually coordinated with the two cities and towns together, and it went very, very well. So it absolutely makes sense for the city to continue to work together with the city of Methuen as that Indispad property goes forward. I also want to mention that we've got a call in the chat room that will be forwarded to you, Mr. Mayor, relative to the TIP program, Trauma Intervention Program. Karen's on board on the call, and she'd like to meet with you at some point in time to talk about developing unique trauma support services for Lawrence residents and first responders. So one of the things that I keep calling out some of these chat messages is because of the fact that the business community that serves the city of Lawrence is so, I think, vital, but also diverse and very much of assistance to you. And it's a wealth of opportunity to help you as you go forward with, for how many months you're here, for the opportunity to move the city of Lawrence forward. So again, I would encourage any person that's on the call to, on the Zoom call, to send us a comment in the chat room. They'll all be forwarded to the mayor once again. And Mr. Mayor, any final words before we adjourn? Again, I want to just say thank you to Cal, who coordinates, and also our sponsors, Covanta, Eastern Bank, Lowell 5 Bank, the Chamber Means Business Program, National Grid, Regis, North and Lawrence, Tech Inc., the Engineering Corp, and Unicare. So, Mr. Mayor, any final thoughts? And again, we want to say thank you to you for taking the time from your very, very busy schedule for being part of us and participating with us.
Definitely no. So before I give you guys my goodbyes, one thing is that I haven't mentioned is that in the Economic and Business Development Department, we're adding capacity there. I think that it's necessary that in order to serve you, we have employees that are prepared and know their stuff. So we're adding additional staffing there simply because in the city of Lawrence, I feel that oftentimes we don't think of investments, but we think about wasting money. And I want to reverse that. Bringing in a new staff member is an investment to our city to support, the business community. So I am committed to bringing in additional staffing in that department, simply because I feel that you guys need support. It's not fair that you submit an application of any sort, and we don't have the employees to get to that application soon enough for you to move on with the next step that you have to follow. So we are adding extra help, extra support, because we have to get back to you as soon as possible. In City Hall, I've instructed people, you have to answer the phone. If the phone is ringing, you need to pick up. You don't know who's calling and why they're calling. That's something that I've learned, coming in, that phone calls are never, I wouldn't say never, I'll take that back, but are regularly not answered. And that culture is changing little by little. And if you call and you don't get an answer, send us an email so I know which department is not responding to the needs of our community, because we need to change that culture. We get paid from taxpayers' money to do a job that is, to be responsible to you. And if we are not answering the call, if we are not responding to the needs of business owners and our residents, then what are we here for? So those are ways that you can help me change the culture internally by reporting when something doesn't happen the way it should.
And I think that's important, Mr. Mayor, because we've got, some very, very positive developments in the city of Lawrence, such as the Riverwalk. Sal Lapoli did a tremendous job, but now the goal is not just to say they did a great job, but now to try to encourage the companies that are there to stay there and grow new companies. And that's become a challenge. And so I think to beef up your economic development department is a very, very positive step. It'll help you reach your goals and objectives. And it'll help all of us continue to see the growth that we want to see happen in the city of Lawrence. And whether it be the vacant mills, whether it be mills that are partially occupied or those that have been converted some degree to housing, now in conjunction with your mixed use program, as well as the downtown revitalization, the neighborhood revitalization, continue with education and workforce development. Those are all positive goals, Mr. Mayor. And I cannot directly speak for everybody on the call today, but I think it's fair to say that we all share your enthusiasm and we all share your goodwill for the continued growth of the city of Lawrence. And you feel free to call upon the chamber. We'll coordinate whatever kind of meeting we can for you and with you, bring you to meet whatever individuals you need to meet, and look forward to continued success. And maybe we can call you back and have an update from you in a couple of months and let us know how you're making out. And
I
And,
think that will be fabulous.
well,
And
we'll plan on
again,
that.
there's one thing that I need help on, and that is we need to identify what the roadblocks are and remove
Yes.
them. And you who are there daily, you understand what those are more than anyone possibly in City Hall, right? So help me identify them and let's figure out a plan to get rid of them.
I know that Sal Lapoli, our chairman of the board, who also has a small development called the Riverwalk, wants me to schedule a meeting with you to go over some ideas.
Yes.
And we can tell you what we've heard and what we think can help. Obviously, Lawrence has made tremendous progress, and we just want to be working with you as you continue to excel and for whatever number of months you're here. But we promised that we would have you off by 1 o'clock. We know you're challenged with time. And Mr. Mayor, we want to say thank you. Let's give you a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the
all.
opportunity. We'll keep
And
the
again,
dialogue going.
If there's anyone that has a question or comment, any comments that were sent to chat will be distributed back to the mayor's office. We just had one from Daniel from LCAT, interested in the Disability Commission. We'll make sure we forward that to you, Mr. Mayor. But again,
Okay.
thank you for taking time, and thank you to everyone. I would say be safe in the snow, but there's no snow. So I think tell your kids to be weather people, because they can be wrong and still be employed well. Thank you,
That's
Mr.
a
Mayor.
wonderful
Thank you,
profession.
everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.